It's Troy Williamson. How are you, Troy?
I'm not bad, mate. How are you?
Yeah, keep well actually on this Sunday evening. We were talking a bit of Daniel Dubois, and if you managed to catch his fight last night, what did you make of it?
It was easy work, wasn't it? I don't think it kind of took an out from that fight. To be fair, I've said I know it shook a bit of ring rust stuff, but just took care of it. And easy, really, wasn't it? There was
Yeah.
nothing. There was nothing in front of him. If I'm honest, the guy was unbeaten, I think, but he was no good. He was not in Daniel's level.
Well, that's the thing, Troy. They were saying, there was a chance to shake off some ring rust and that ahead of the Joe Joyce fight. How much benefit, really, would you have got from fighting somebody like that?
Nothing, in my opinion, especially when you're going to go in and fight someone like Joe Joyce. But like you say, you can only beat who's in front of you. So I'm looking forward to the Dubois Joyce. We're looking forward to that. Hopefully, it does go ahead in October.
Yeah, we were wondering whether there'd be fans in the arena. Frank said he was going to make a commercial decision. Saying it does go ahead, who'd you fancy?
I'm going with Joe Joyce. Um, I think I don't want to sit on the fence, to be fair, but I think if Dubois can't get him out there within the first 4 or 5 rounds, I think Joyce could get to him.
Yeah, we think Joyce is experienced, he's tough, he can hang around, he's fought probably the better opposition, guys like Bryant Jennings. Dubois is obviously the fellow on the way up, but Joyce, he has a bit of staying power about him, doesn't he?
Oh, 1,000,000%. But people just think that Joyce is just come forward, but he can box. You don't just get a silver medal in the Olympic Games if you can't box. So he can box for a big guy, and he's got some staying power, and he's very strong, and he can take a take as well. So I think if Daniel doesn't get rid of him, and then it will get interesting as the fight goes on.
Yeah, just before we move on to your career, sticking with the heavyweight theme, we obviously saw Dillian White getting knocked out by Alexander Povetkin weekend. Big shock, although Povetkin, very experienced puncher. What did you make of that one?
Sad, really, because of I'm always behind the British fighters, so I was rooting for Dillian to perform. And I think he was boxing. He was boxing superb. I think he was winning most of the rounds, and then boom, it only takes one shot. So you got to be switched on at all times because with them 10-ounce gloves on, doesn't matter if you're in with an elite fighter, journeyman. If you take one clean, then it can cause damage, and we've seen that on the night. He was in full
Yeah,
control, and one shot, and it's lights out.
that's the thing. I mean, Johnny Nelson was talking about it, and he wasn't the only person who's mentioned this phrase, a lucky punch. But if you look at someone like Povetkin, the point was made to us last week. This guy's been boxing for 30 odd years. He's always setting you up for a shot like that. I mean, what do you think about the concept of a lucky punch?
Definitely, you could see from round one he was jabbing and dipping into onto his left, so it looked like he was looking for that shot, and then obviously he kept on doing it, jab, slipping, nothing was opening up, but then when he did throw it, obviously jab, slip, Dillian threw his jab, boom, he was wide open, then it was just like it was lovely combination, just a jab, slip, screw shot. It was beautiful. I don't think it was a lucky punch. I think he was setting it up from the previous rounds. If you watch the fight back.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, obviously, it's difficult for that to happen. Dillian getting knocked out so brutally. Put yourself in his shoes. What do you think your mindset would be about getting in with Povetkin again sooner rather than later? How do you think you'd feel about it?
Obviously, I think it's just every fighter's mindset is obviously you want to make that wrong right. I think that's why he wants to jump straight back into the rematch. But we've seen it with who was it? David Price when he got knocked out by was it Tony Thompson?
Yeah.
Like that was a big shock upset, and
Good
he wanted
point.
to make that wrong right and jump straight back into the rematch, and it happened again. So I don't know. I think if I don't think it will happen again if Dillian books him again, but like you say, obviously it only takes that one shot, so I don't really know. I wouldn't like to be in his shoes, to be honest.
Well, exactly. I mean, thankfully at the moment things are going pretty well for you.
Yeah.
15-0-1, 11 knockouts, 4-year pro, 29 years of age. It just seems now, especially after that win over Harry Scarf, like things are falling into place and it's time for you to push on now to those big fights.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I've been calling for these big fights for a long time now, and they're just starting to happen. So really looking forward to the future, and hopefully I'll be out before Christmas. hopefully get
Any
another win.
yeah, any names on the horizon? I mean, obviously you don't have to call anybody out, but I mean, is there any names mentioned?
Now there's nobody's been mentioned. I've said it before. I'll box anybody my weight domestically. Obviously, I need to prove myself domestically first. So anybody domestically I suit well away, I'll box. So whoever they give me, then yeah, we'll be accepting it.
Yeah, just looking ahead of you in the box rec rankings, there's some interesting names. Obviously, the likes of Hamza, Shiraz, James Metcalf has a fight coming up as well. You got that little quartet of Sam Eggington, Ted Cheeseman, Scott Fitzgerald, and Anthony Fowler, and then put Kell Brook sort of away on his own. Anyone you fancy out of that lot?
Yeah, they're all great fights. Obviously, there's the Hamza Shiraz, James Metcalf. That I think they're the only two that are with the same promotion team. So they're easy fights to be made. Obviously, all the rest are with Matchroom, but yeah, there's some massive fights out there for me, and I'm confident in beating them all.
Yeah, absolutely. We mentioned the Harry Scarf fight there. What was it like fighting in that sort of bubble in your call? It must have been really weird.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was really weird. Like the full week was weird. To be fair, like obviously there was no press conference. The head-to-head, the weigh-in, that was all weird. They were only letting like one coach at a time, so there was me, my coach, Harry, his coach, and then the guy who calls names out. But yeah, it was on fight night. It was completely strange. You could hear everything. You could hear your coach, you could hear his coach, you could hear him breathing, getting out of breath. You could hear everything. It was quite strange, but it was a great learning fight, and took a lot of positives away from that fight.
Yeah, you got the win obviously by scores of 3 points, 2 points, and 1 point. What were the positives? Because afterwards, obviously, Harry thought he'd won. Big Clifton Mitchell thought he'd won as well. What were the positives you took?
Yeah, the positives I took from that fight. I went into the fight. I had an injured neck for
Uh,
one. Yeah, I had an injured neck from my last bout on the Sunday. Um, I had, I've niggles. I've been training since February, so it's been a long camp. I've been training for 6 months now. So I've picked up all these little niggles. I've been up and down on weight. We got told I was boxing July. That fell through. Then we got told it was the end of July 31st. That fell through. Then August the 20th. Then it got brought forward to August 15th. So
mm,
really, I was like, I didn't know when I was like. Obviously, I was training hard, but it was hard to sort of peak, if you know what I mean, because I didn't know what sort of date I was training for. So obviously, I've been in training since February. Then we've had opponents that fell through. Harry Scarf I think they mentioned him 10 days before I boxed. So 10 days before I boxed, I didn't have no opponent. So obviously, I was going to like fight week, thinking I'm a boxing, still training hard, obviously. So it was hard. Like I didn't really think I didn't reach my peak in training because I was up and down, and it was a very long training camp. Instead of just getting an opponent 8 weeks out and then training for that one opponent, I found it pretty hard to get up for it. And then obviously fight week we headed down to London, me and my coach, and we stayed in the bubble. It was just it was just I had a lot of things going on, to be honest with you. So if I'm completely honest, I think the best version of me beat the best the worst version of me beat the best version of Harry Scarf, because I think that's the best he can bring. Where it was a very bad performance for me, but I did think I deserved to win. I did think I won by 1 or 2 rounds. It was close. I'm not saying it wasn't close, but I definitely deserved to win by 1 or 2. Which obviously it was a unanimous decision. It wasn't no judges went for him, if you know what I mean.
yeah. Well, this is the thing that fight fans often don't see. I mean, if you've got a date and it's floating about all over the place, you're thinking about your weight, you're thinking about when you're going to peak, maybe overdoing it. All those things are going through your mind.
Oh, 100%. Like you say, obviously we were in training in February first for we were meant to be boxing May the 2nd. So we were flat out training, and then in March, I think 24th, was it March 24th? I think when tits up with
Yeah,
COVID.
yeah.
I think it was March 24th. So obviously we laid off a little bit, but I was still training. I'm a professional, so I was still in the gym, ticking over. Wasn't intense. I was just doing my own things, training from home, running, going to the boxing gym 3 times a week, and then we got told that we could be boxing in July. Would I be ready? So then we started picking it up. Obviously, I said yes. Started picking it up. Got told July 31st, I think. So we started sparring, started getting in good shape. Then we got told it was going to be August the 1st, so got pushed back again. Then August 20th, then brought forward. So the training was up and down. My weight was up and down. It was a strange one. It's been a strange training camp, this one, but I got the win, and hopefully next time we just get a solid opponent that's set in stone, and we can train for him. And then push on.
Absolutely, getting the win's the main thing. Final couple for you, Troy. What about the World Series of Boxing? What was it like fighting in that?
Yeah, it was good. I think I got flung in the deep end a couple of times. I wasn't on GB. I wasn't on GB long, and the top guys on GB were getting offered these fights with the Kazakhstans and the Cubans. For whatever reason, they weren't taking a fight. So I got asked if I took the Cuban, I could go to the Olympic qualifiers. It was a no-brainer. They didn't even have to mention going to the Olympic qualifiers. It was just getting in there, and obviously it was an experience learning from boxing the world #1. So yeah, I jumped straight in. At the time, he was Olympic gold medalist and world champion. So yeah, it was a good, great experience. But I think I got from the deep end a couple of times. I boxed the Cuban twice. What do you call him? Nur Sultanov from Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
And Charles Cromwell from America. There's, I think there was three Olympians I boxed there. So,
all the better for the experience, though, yeah.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. It was a great experience. I was in with some good fights as well.
Brilliant stuff.
Wasn't out me death.
Absolutely. Any social media presences, Troy, you want to make us aware of that the lads can follow you?
Yeah, well, you can get me on Instagram, Troy Williamson _1. I'm on Twitter as well, Trojan _91. I've just come off Facebook because it's just it's a lot of shit, isn't it? Facebook. I only use it to advertise me fights and sell me tickets, but obviously with COVID-19, we don't need to sell tickets. So I've come off for the time being.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you. Thanks for coming on. We do appreciate you giving us your time on this Sunday evening, sir.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Thank you for having me. Cheers.